So things seem to be getting really interesting when it comes to Nintendo Switch Online, plus the expansion pack, and just Nintendo Switch overall. Despite the system being in its 7th/8th year coming up here, the Nintendo Switch continues to get new information and things that could be coming that gets fans excited. And we're going to get into that and more. But before we do, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more first. Let's go ahead and jump right into this because we all know that Nintendo recently announced the Nintendo Switch Online playtest, where select people who were faster than everybody else in the world are able to get in. Myself being included. I do want to say that I am going to be in the playtest. That's coming up at the end of this month. Coming up next week, pretty much. I think we're going to get the first waves to actually download the software. Then the playtest will start at the end of the month. So very exciting. Now, people have been speculating on what Nintendo's going to do here, but it does seem like we have more information on potentially what's happening with Nintendo Switch Online, and it looks like they're going to be adding some new systems in, and potentially GameCube. That seems to be the big thing that everyone's talking about, and there's some other information that's coming out that kind of backs up the idea that GameCube is indeed coming to the Nintendo Switch Online, probably sometime in 2025, probably not this year, probably 2025. But let's look into some of the information here and we can kind of go over overall. So Wario64, shout outs to him, Wario64, and many other people reported on this stealth as well. Nintendo talked about this in the Nintendo Switch Online newsletter and said that Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack turns 3 years old this month. Then they also state this: what excitement will the next year bring for Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack members? Stay tuned to find out. You look at the play test that they're doing combined with this and this other information that we're going to go over, and it looks like, yeah, something pretty substantial is coming. So the rumor that I'm talking about, which leads it to believe that it's GameCube, Go Nintendo talked about this from where I saw it, but it looks like Nintendo's going to be putting out some new GameCube controllers. So yeah, that's very interesting. So Family Boards user Random67 has been digging around various component shipments related to the Big N, and they seem to have stumbled on some evidence of the GameCube controller getting another round of manufacturing. Now, we did see the GameCube controller come back for the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch, and now a fresh round might be in the works. The component shipments mentioned above are all related to pieces and parts you'd find in a GameCube controller. That goes for the rumble motor, the LED light covers, trigger covers, and more. Now, this is not 100% confirmation that a GameCube controller is coming back, but it definitely seems to be that way. Now, what does Nintendo do when it comes to the Nintendo Switch? They made controllers for the different systems that have came out for the platform for Nintendo Switch Online. They did the NES, they did the Super Nintendo, they did the N64, they did a Sega Genesis. Like, they do this. So it definitely seems like all things are lining up that GameCube will be revealed and announced in 2025, or maybe even this year in 2024. GameCube will be announced, and then we'll probably get that in 2025. I'm guessing that the playtest has something to do with these new features, potentially new systems coming in. Some people have even speculated other stuff like DS or other platforms, but I do think eventually Nintendo will have all their legacy systems. At some point, they'll have all or most of their legacy systems that you can check out, and they'll make controllers or they'll make different things and peripherals, and they'll continue to probably add to Nintendo Switch Online because it's been a huge money maker for them. They've got 30 million plus subscriptions on there. I'm not sure what the split is between Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack and not, but it's still a lot more revenue coming in from online than they ever had in the history of ever, because they never charged for online up until this point with the Nintendo Switch. So that's just extra revenue. Now they're investing more into it. Obviously, you have to do the different things to make all these systems operate and the online play and different stuff like that. But I do think that if GameCube games come to Nintendo Switch Online, it's actually pretty exciting for many people out there, myself included. GameCube was the king of local multiplayer in the 6th generation. And now with Nintendo Switch Online, you actually have online play. If you have people to play with, boom, you can go right there and play. It essentially tricks the game into thinking that you're playing local, but it's not. It's not like it's like server based and stuff like that. But maybe they're going to be adding that when it comes to Nintendo Switch Online, but we'll have to wait and see. But for right now, it's still pretty cool. If you want to play Mario 64, if you want to play any of the other multiplayer games that are on the NES, the Super NES, the N64, you can do that right now with Nintendo Switch Online, which is something that they've never been able to do in the past. With Virtual Console, that's never happened. So I understand how some people don't necessarily like it. I'm not big on the old games overall, just because I've already played them over and over. So I'm not going to waste a ton of time playing them because I've already played them, unless it's something that I really want to play again, or if it's like a remake or a remaster of a game that I like. But I do feel that this in particular would be really good, and I'd absolutely go back, depending on what games they release, I'd absolutely go back and play some of the GameCube games online with the community here. So I'm very excited to see what Nintendo has for us, because I do think that this is going to be very cool, and I think it's going to lead right into what they're doing next with the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, if you have a proposition to where from the very beginning you have that Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack membership, and you have Nintendo Switch 2, and your membership carries over, which it's going to because it's based on the accounts, and Nintendo's already stated that accounts are going to be migrating from Switch to Switch 2, that's a very good thing to have right there day one in order to have a flush of games that you can play with family and friends. So I'm definitely looking forward to what Nintendo's going to do with the playtest, and I cannot wait to see what systems they're going to add to this service. I do think that price, though, I think that price is going to go up at some point. I don't know if they're going to raise it with GameCube coming, but I think in the future they're definitely going to raise the price and add some more tiers, add some more systems and some other things to it. But we'll have to wait and see for that. I do want to get into something else, because this is very unfortunate when it comes to Bandai Namco. Now, I've been playing Bandai Namco games for decades now at this point, and I've been critical of them on various different things, especially with the Naruto franchise and with some of the other popular anime games that they've done, My Hero, JJK. Like, they've kind of ruined a lot of stuff out there. It's been low quality, and shout outs to Sparking Zero, because Sparking Zero is really good and it sold 3 million plus units. That's so good. It's the fastest selling Dragon Ball Z game of all time, one of the fastest selling Bandai Namco games of all time outside of like Elden Ring stuff that they published. So one of their fastest selling. So that's good. I'm happy for them and everything, but it seems like they went a little bit too overboard, because they're starting to cancel certain projects. They're starting to cancel Naruto projects. They're starting to cancel other anime game projects. And according to this, there is a Nintendo commissioned game that was also canceled. Smartphone games have been canceled. Remember, they put together the studio that was with Nintendo in order to get certain commissioned games. It seems like at least one of them have been canceled. So there's definitely some issues going on there. Now, Bandai Namco is also reducing staff in a really weird way, because layoffs can't really happen like that in Japan. You can't just fire people like that. They have laws that protect the workers. So essentially what they're doing is that they're putting them in these expulsion rooms. And these expulsion rooms, they essentially put them in there and they don't let them do anything. Like, there's nothing for them to do. They just sit there in the room. So the people get so bored that they just voluntarily quit on their own or find somewhere else to work. So you don't have to worry about any potential law issues with firing them. So it's really difficult when it comes down to it, and it really just is a, I would say, crappy type of move, but it looks like that's what they're doing here. And there's been numerous Japanese companies within gaming and not that do stuff like this. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Hopefully these employees can find somewhere else to work, because everywhere else is hiring. Like, Japan has a pretty robust hiring and robust video game market. There are tons of other companies that are hiring, so I'm pretty sure a lot of these other people can find different places to work, but the way that they get it done is just ridiculous in my opinion. Now, I do want to talk just a bit about the canceled game that could potentially affect what Nintendo is doing, or what they did with Nintendo. People are saying hopefully it's not the rumored Kid Icarus Uprising port or remaster or remake that Bandai Namco is rumored to be working on. And if that's the canceled game, that sucks, because Kid Icarus Uprising is one of the best games that I've played on the Nintendo 3DS. I think it's a top 5 Nintendo 3DS title, and people are really looking forward, or people would really love to be able to play that game on a modern architecture, on a modern system where we have 2 analog sticks, where the 3DS does not have even enough power to use the Circle Pad Pro. The game is awesome. The only problem is the controls. So people have been waiting, have been wanting them to bring the game to the Nintendo Switch. So they haven't done it at this point. Sakurai even lobbied for it. Some people felt that that was kind of a hint that it's coming, because he also works with Bandai Namco when it comes to Super Smash Brothers. So I'm hoping that's not the game, and I'm hoping that the report maybe isn't 100% accurate overall. This is a Bloomberg report. So we'll have to just wait and see what Nintendo and what Bandai Namco have for us. But yeah, overall, it's very unfortunate that this is happening with Bandai Namco. And I think that if you look at the games that they've been putting out, Yeah, they've had some hits. Yeah, they've had some Dragon Ball Z stuff that has done well. They've had Elden Ring published games that have done well, but clearly everything's not doing as well as they would have liked. I think that the JJK game and the My Hero games, those kind of just said, okay, there's some issues overall. And Jump Force as well, although that was a number of years ago, but they've had far more anime duds than hits. Over the last 10 years, they've had way more duds. Really, all they've had to really hang their hat on is just really Dragon Ball Z and some of the Naruto games. And they even had some duds with Naruto when it comes to Shinobi Striker. That game flopped, but they've had some big flops when it comes to anime games. The JJK game was a disaster. The My Hero games showed some promise, but ended up being duds as well. And Jump Force was a complete, utter failure. So Bandai Namco needs to do a bit better. Now, don't get me wrong, they still make some awesome stuff. Sparking Zero is great. They do make Tales. They make some other things that are very good, but there's some issues. And I think that's why they've canceled some of their projects. That's why they've reevaluated. They're looking at what they're making and they're seeing that maybe it's not up to the quality that we need it to be. So let's cancel and let's redo what we're going to do. Because I don't think that they're going to stop making Naruto games. Like, there's rumor that they canceled something. They're not going to stop making them. They're going to still make them, but they need to make sure that they're better quality. I mean, look at Sparking Zero. That game is one of the best rated anime games of all time, easily hands down, like with its low 80s score, and it's selling incredible. Dragon Ball Z is more popular than ever, and I think that's part of it, but I do feel that the quality of Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero is one of the big reasons why it's doing so well. You get that popularity with an actually good game that reviews well and people are excited about because there's good mechanics and a good game overall with plenty of single player and multiplayer content. That's when you really get people rallying and fans to support the game. We still need that for Naruto. Naruto has not had that since the original Ninja Storm. Overall, they have not had a game that truly impressed, that truly was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And that's why I'm so critical on them when it comes to Naruto. That's one of my favorite animes, and they just have not done a great job with it. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly what comes of this. I'm just hoping that Kid Icarus was not the game that was canceled, because Kid Icarus is just so good. And it's very unfortunate, just very unfortunate that they have to go through this. So apparently, according to Stealth as well, that 100 staff have already left this way due to these pressure expulsion rooms. 100 staff is a lot so far. Bandai Namco does have a lot of employees though, so it's not like it's going to make a massive dent on their workforce overall, but it's still a good number of people and definitely open to criticism overall when they do stuff like this. Fortunately, the Japanese scene is flushed with jobs around the industry. Nintendo's always hiring when it comes down to things. Monolith Soft is hiring. There's a bunch of other companies that are hiring. So hopefully they can all land on their feet and everything can be good. So what do you guys think overall when it comes to what happened here with Bandai Namco and when it comes to potentially what's happening with Nintendo Switch Online? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.